All right, guys, we are live here at the podcast for Masata's World, and we have a pretty crazy topic tonight. As you all know, what the hell? As you guys all know, or may have known, over the course of the years, I've been struggling with these, I guess you would call them custody battles with my baby mom. For the past 19 years, um, everything had to go through my baby mom. Everything was, if I wanted to see my son, we had to contact her. We had to go through her. And she dictated how, she dictated how everything went down. If there was, let's say, for instance, if there was, a time we could meet him or whatever, or if there was ever a time where we wanted to see him, it would always have to be through her for some reason. And recently, all that has changed, and because of it, there has been a lot of issues, a lot of problems that have occurred, and there's been some things that's been coming out in the open that wasn't put out there before, as far as like things with my son. And now that he is here with us, or whatever, some of these things have been coming to surface. My son has a better understanding of what it was that I had to deal with and go through over the last 19 years. He also helped me to understand what he was dealing with, a bit more over the course of the 19 years. But my son does realize now that times are different, things are different, and whatnot. And the good news is that he's now with me, staying with me. He lives with me and whatnot. So, that being said, we're going to have him talk to you for a bit, tell you his story and how things was as a child for him growing up versus how things are now, and how it made him feel, all the little hardships and things that he had to go through. And then we'll pass the mic over to his uncle over there in the back. I don't know if you guys can see him, but he's back there somewhere. Hiding or whatever. He's definitely back there. We'll turn the mic over to him. So go ahead.
Yo, yo.
Introduce yourself.
I just want to say, yo, y'all could call me Monty, because that's my name or whatever. I'm going to start off with, yes, I'm here, and I'm here to stay. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. And like he said, recently, I realized that now I'm in a better place, and things have been better for me ever since I left my mom's house. I'll get more into that later, but I just want to say these two right here and my grandma, of course, she's not here at the moment because,
She doesn't do these podcast things anyway, so.
Yeah, she doesn't do these podcast things, but all three of them has helped me along the way and supported me through everything. and I just want to thank them for that, first off. And secondly, I'm gonna get into what I had to go through. So, growing up, you know, just an average kid from Southwest.
That's Southwest Philly.
Yeah,
For anybody
Southwest
who was
Philly.
wondering.
Yo, Southwest Philadelphia, born and raised. I ain't spend none of my days in the park or whatever Will Smith said.
Playground.
Yeah, the playground. But yeah. So
Yeah, and that's some of what he has to get into. Go ahead.
yeah. So basically, all my life growing up, I've been isolated as a kid and part of my adulthood. I've been isolated basically my whole life. And I didn't really get to experience much, and I didn't really have a good childhood. All because of my mother, she was keeping me hidden away from the world. And although I feel like it's my fault, I know deep down inside that it's not my fault, and I know that it was all her doing. And although I am 19, I just wish there was a way I could have spoken about it sooner. But me being young and not knowing any better, I didn't have a word to put out to anybody. So just recently, after my 18th birthday, turning 19, my grandma, my uncle, this one right here, and my dad, of course, they supported me, and they were telling me how if I needed anything that they will always be there, and they have always been there growing up, and till now, they're still here. So let me get into what's going on with my mom. So recently, as he stated earlier into the opening podcast, that he's been fighting this custody battle. Yes, it's been rough and it's been hard, and yes, we made it through. So my mom find herself, getting mad or whatever, because it was my little cousin's birthday. They wanted to celebrate her getting on the road, being a good kid. And I was downstairs talking to my mom and my sister about it, or whatever. And basically, I was saying, like, I was asking my mom if I could basically go to her little, like, celebration. And she was like, "Oh, are you making that up or whatever?" And
Whose celebration are you referring to in this instance? Your
my little
mom's
cousin,
or your cousin?
my little cousin, Italy, that's what her name is. And I was basically asking her if I could, like, go to it. And she looked at me and asked me if I was making it up or things like that. And I told her no. And then she was like, "You can go, but your grandmother, your uncle, or your father is going to have to start picking you up because I ain't nobody's chauffeur." So, with that being said, I went up back to my room because I was gaming with my dad and my uncle, and I basically told my dad everything that she told me and how they were gonna have to start picking me up or whatever, right? So basically, that's what happened, and they were telling me how if I wanted to leave that night, that they would come and get me that same night, or if I was ready in the morning, that they would come get me that morning. But they told me to let them know.
Approximately what time was this that, they told you they would come get you?
It was approximately like 2:30 a.m. in the morning. And like what, 5, 10 minutes later, I told them that I'll be I'll hit them up early in the morning, and that way I can get ready and stuff, shower, get my bags packed, this and that. So I go to sleep. Well, no, actually I didn't go to sleep. I stayed up until what, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. And that's when I messaged my father and my grandma, telling them that I was ready. And at first, you know, he didn't answer because he was asleep. But then he got the message and he told me that he was on his way. So, me being me, I was ready and I got my keys and everything else that I was bringing over there for the weekend. But my mother didn't know that that was going to be the last time that I was going to be staying with her. So basically, I uh I
And
told
technically, she didn't need to know you're a grown man. But did you know that was going to be the last day, or
yes, I
so
did.
you already had your mind made up?
Yep, I
Okay.
already had my mind made up, and it's been that way since I was a little kid. But basically, I caught myself texting them, telling them that I was ready, and I walked out the door. I didn't say anything to my mother because I told her in advance that I was going to be going to my little cousin's celebration. So she knew where my whereabouts were and she knew where I was. So later that evening, I was sitting in my father's room having a conversation with him, and she catches herself, and at first she texts me and asks me like what am I doing and where am I at, and I responded, right. So then like a minute or two later,
What was your response?
my response was I'm not in the house right now, and
Okay.
she texted me and was like, well then where are you at? And I told her, I was like, I'm at my dad's house. I'm at my father's house. And she was like, oh, really? When did you leave? And why didn't you tell me that you left? So that's when I told her, you have my location. Because, you know, on iPhone, there's this thing called sharing locations where you can see whose locations and where they are depending on who you're sharing it with. So she knew where I was at all times and she knew where I was going. And basically, she got mad and had this little hissy fit about me wanting to leave the house and not telling her, although she knew where I was and she could see my location. So she calls herself texting me and calling me, and like she got mad and told me that she was going to call me back later, which she never did.
Hmm.
And a day or so goes by, like the
Okay.
next
When
day.
when you left, did you have anything with you? Any bags? Any
Yes.
you know? What did you bring with you when you left?
So what I brought with me was my phone, my gaming console, and some clothes.
Is that the type of stuff you usually bring to your dad's house when
Yeah.
you come to visit, or
Yep, that's the stuff I normally bring when I come
okay?
to visit. So the next day, I was just up sitting in my father's room again because I think we were gaming at the time. And basically, um, she calls me and tells me to get my stuff ready. And yeah, she told me to be ready in like 5 minutes. And I told her that I wasn't ready to leave. I sent that in a text message and told her that I wasn't ready to leave. And she was like, what do you mean by you're not ready to leave? And I told her that I wanted to stay with my father and them for like, a bit. I wanted to be around men because women cannot teach men how to be men, if you get what I'm trying to say. So, me saying that, she basically got in this mood and was like, "Oh no, you're not staying there. Like, no, I'll come and get you right now if I had to." And I told her, "You'll be wasting your time coming over here." And basically she pulls up, sits outside for 2 hours, and the only reason I noticed is because me and my father looked out the window and we seen a car that her current boyfriend was driving, and she was sitting in the passenger seat waiting on. Before she even told us that she was outside, she was out there for about 2.5 hours. And after that, she texts me and tells me that she's outside and that I should come outside and all this. And I was like, no, I'm not coming out, and that I wanted to stay. So then she calls me while I'm on the phone with my grandma. She calls me, and I tell my grandma I'm gonna hold on, right? And she's on hold the whole time. So then I was like, okay, hold on, my mom's calling. So I merged the call, and my mom just happens to start cursing me out. Like, she calls me all these types of names.
Um, the names. What were the names that she called you?
So basically, she called me like a pussy and a bitch, and she told me that she was going to whip my ass and get people to whip my ass and all that.
Mm.
So me being me, you know, I uh I felt threatened, and I felt unsafe. Although I'm in a safe environment, I felt unsafe because of the things that she told me, and that made me get a little upset. So my uncle and my father sat there and comforted me and told me everything was going to be okay. And as she's saying this, both my father, my uncle, and my grandma are all there, and they heard everything that she has said to me. So after that, I basically end the call, and then I get another call from this guy named Christopher, who she calls my father, although that's not my biological father. He is. Which he's only been in my life because of the fact that my father tried to respect what they had going on. That's the only reason he's ever been in my life. And I respect him as a person for doing that, but don't consider yourself my father because you aren't. But basically, he ends up calling me and trying to ask me what's going on, this and that. And he catches an attitude because of the way that I was basically going about how I said things. So after he catches the attitude, my dad gets on the phone and tells him a few things, and he doesn't like the way that my dad basically was summoning up things and putting things into order. So he catches himself dropping like F bombs and all this and all that. And he's just like taking things way out of proportion, him being him. Flamer. But we ain't gonna talk about that. And basically, he takes things out of proportion, and from there, he hangs up the phone, and my mom is just spamming my phone with all these different text messages talking about come out now, bring me my stuff since you're a man.
What stuff? What stuff was she referring to?
She was referring to both the phone that and the PS5 that she got me for my birthday and for Christmas as gifts.
So she got you a PlayStation 5 for your birthday and Christmas, and she got you a phone for your birthday and Christmas.
No, she got my phone for my birthday, and she got my PlayStation as a Christmas gift.
Oh, okay, okay. And she wanted these items?
Yes, she wanted these items. So basically, she wanted these items, and I didn't want to give them to him, but my grandma, my uncle, and my dad just said, just give it to her because we'll get you a new one. So we came to an agreement, and my grandmother said that she would walk the items down to her car. So I basically put everything into a bag. I resetted the phone and everything so that she couldn't be in my business because she thought that I was being influenced. Although I wasn't, I chose to be here. And I wanted to be here because I feel safe and happy here. And she didn't like that I said that and said that I wanted to be here because she has this impression that my father's a bad guy, which he isn't. He's been trying to be in my life since I was born, and she wouldn't allow that. She didn't want that. So now that I'm here, like, she finds herself going MIA for 2 to 3 weeks, no contact, no none of that. Although she couldn't get in contact because the phone that she took was her only way to contact me. So she texted my grandmother and basically like asked my grandmother if I could make a call to her, in which my grandmother forwarded the message to me, and I basically didn't like I chose not to call her because of what she told me and how she was threatening me and all this. So
So you wanted to keep the peace.
yes, I wanted to keep the peace. I didn't want any drama.
That's understandable. That's really very understandable. You've been dealing with a lot. So tell us a little bit about your childhood. What, as a child, what did you have to encounter or go through, or what was your childhood like?
Well, first off, I can say that my childhood, I didn't really go outside much. I wasn't able to hang out with friends or have any friends over or have any girlfriends, you know. I wasn't able to go to parties or see who I wanted to see because my mother was keeping me inside. And I had to go through, I wouldn't actually, no. Technically, it was abuse from the person who she called my father.
And who was that person? I mean, if you don't feel comfortable giving names, you don't have to give names. But who was the person? Was this somebody that you knew, somebody you grew up with? Was it somebody from, like a family member? Was it a friend? I mean, who was this person?
Basically, at the time, that was her boyfriend slash baby father, and it was somebody who basically I grew up with because I was forced to grow up with him because that's what my mother wanted. And I was basically like being abused because he would discipline me even though I wasn't his child. So, me being young, I didn't know what I could do and I didn't have a voice for myself because I felt like nobody would understand and nobody would see what I had to go through and nobody would listen. Not even my own mother would listen to me. Although she knew what was going on, she didn't step in.
Now, you say she knew what was going on. What do you exactly mean by she knew?
Like, basically, what I mean by she knew is she would let him discipline me and wouldn't say anything about it. Although that wasn't his rights because he wasn't my biological father. She was my biological mother, so she could discipline me, but he wasn't allowed to. And she didn't
Did
try
you
to.
ever think to maybe like try and reach out to your dad or your grandmother, excuse me, or your uncle in regards to that matter? Like, did you ever try talking to them? How did you feel about that? Were you able to talk to them about it?
Yes, just recently I was able to talk to him about it, and it was a very like upsetting topic, but I was able to talk to them about it.
So, I mean, I understand as a child, or back in your youth when you were growing up, um, you you said that you didn't have a voice, or you always have a voice. It doesn't matter if it's a small one, a big one. If it's a voice that you feel as though may not be heard. You know, um, you always have a voice. And I know how hard it can be because me coming from the type of background that I came from, I've dealt with, abuse as well. I've also been through a lot where, I had to grow up at a very young age. So my childhood wasn't as great as it could have been. I did actually have a childhood. I mean, I'm sorry, you didn't. I was able to experience that. But I did everything that I could on my end to try to give you the best childhood possible. Um, I hope you can understand that and believe that, I was doing everything on my end. I'm not trying to influence you and I'm not trying to paint myself out to be someone I'm not,
Right.
you know. But I know that, you know, because from when I was a kid, a lot of times, especially when the situations or the abuse or the problems are coming from within your own household, that it's hard for you to open up. It's hard for you to talk about it or reach out to someone, but you've been saying a lot of positive things about your dad, and I believe it's his side of the family or whatever, where you felt as though they were your support group, they were your shoulder to cry on, or the backbone that held you together, or whatever, throughout your trying times or whatever, and did it ever cross your mind that maybe you should have told them, or I'm just trying to, get a good, understanding as to why you never, as a child, tried to tell them about the misuse of the discipline and, this guy obviously disciplining you and the uncomfort that it caused
Well, at the time, I didn't think to actually talk about it because at the time I was young. But like growing up, I felt as though more and more the topic just was serious and that I should bring it up. So as I got older, that's when the topic, came up into conversation.
you. I can understand that. I can understand that. Like I said, I've been there. I know how hard it is for you to, open up, especially when you're in a situation where, you know, you've been staying somewhere your entire life and raised by, a specific family member or, a group of family members, and this tends to be the normal. This happens on a regular basis and whatnot. You tend to think or may feel like, from my personal experiences anyway, you may feel like, well, this is how things are supposed to be. And I know that there's a lot of kids out there, that have experienced that and may even be experiencing it now, you know, or at some point may experience it. There is help. There is things that you can do. Don't think that just because, you're a child, or just because, you live with a certain person, or whatever the case is, that you don't have a voice, or that you can't speak up, you can't say nothing about it. You know, I can't guarantee you that the outcome is going to be something that you want, but I can guarantee you that the outcome is going to be better than the situation that you're currently in. And what I mean by that is you may not always end up with the person that you want to end up with. Like, for instance, in Monty's situation, he ended up with the person he wanted to end up with, which was his father, his dad, or whatever, something that he's been wanting to do obviously for a long time from his statement earlier. But there are situations where people do speak up and they are taken from their homes and forced to be placed into other homes where they feel like, and I'm talking about the people that's doing the placing, they feel like this will be a better home for that particular child or individual. And sometimes those situations can be worse than the situation they was pulled out of. You know, sometimes it could be similar situations or just as bad. And oftentimes, but not, situations could end up being a lot better. It doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect, and it doesn't mean that the child is going to be, 100% happy. You know, um, but at the end of the day, there is things that you can do. There are people you can talk to, you know, just to let someone know, just so that you don't have to live with the stress and the anxiety and the, the hurt, the pain, the heartache, because these are supposed to be people that love you and people you love. For them to treat you in such a manner and do things of that nature to you, it's a really hurtful thing. A very hurtful thing. It destroys families, it destroys relationships, it destroys people, and I'm speaking from pure experience myself, you know, being from a broken home, being from a home where, you know, my mother was the person who mainly raised me. Like there were other men in my life, my mom did remarry and, we had a stepfather my whole life, or most of my life. There was another man in my life. I was able to try and rekindle the relationship with my father, which was a bad decision on my part because it didn't go the way that I was hoping it would go. It didn't turn out the way that I hoped it would. And God rest his soul. I know he's up there. I know he's watching me, and I know he's proud of the man that I've become. But end of the day, it was a bad decision on my part to try and, you know, fix things or repair things on my own. Because in an instance like that where things need to be repaired, it has to be a mutual thing. The person you're trying to repair it with has to also want it to be repaired. And if they don't, it ain't gonna work. It cannot be a one-sided thing in a situation like that. Something so serious like that. As a father, I've always told my son, if he ever needed anything, if he ever wanted anything, where he can come. And I've always provided for my son, no matter how big or how small it was. My son wanted or needed anything, I always made a way for him to get it. It didn't matter the price, it didn't matter how big or how small it was. Always made a way. And to have her threaten to kick my door in and set my place on fire and risk my life, my son's life, my brother's life, and the life of countless others because I live on a third floor apartment. And there's about, what would you say, about maybe 3 other units, about 4 other units, around us, outside of the 2 floors or the 3 floors, but the 2 floors beneath us. Outside of that, there's about 3 to 4 other units around us that would all have got affected if that was the case. And she has no consideration for life. Now, I understand that, he is her son and he's also my son. And from personal experiences and from the things that I've been told and whatnot, I also know that my son's entire life she has been slandering my name and bad mouthing me, not just to him, but to pretty much everybody, that she comes across. She slanders my name. My son told you guys that I've spoken to the dude she considered to be my son's father, her other baby father, her ex, her current ex. Um, I've spoken to him over the phone, and I think I kind of hurt his feelings because I was spitting facts to him and whatnot. I was telling him he was trying to throw out there that I was such a deadbeat and I was such a bad guy and whatnot. And when I'm hearing him, I'm listening to him talk. I'm listening to him like, hold up, first off, bro, you don't know me. The one time we did meet, it was not a pretty picture. You never even got out the car to greet me in any way, shape, or form. You were not a man. I was. I stood my ground. I was there to meet you. I wanted to meet you. But instead, you punked out. So you have no audacity, no authority, and no nerve to say anything that you have said out of your mouth to me. Secondly, you have no idea what you're talking about. All the information that you got is secondhand information. It came from an unreliable source. Now, I know you feel as though you can trust your baby mom and, all of that because y'all was in a relationship for X amount of time and, y'all have a child together and all of that. But at the end of the day, you have to remember one thing, there's two sides to every story. And depending on the person telling the story, you're only going to get half the story because nobody is going to tell on themselves. Nobody is going to make themselves look bad in a situation, especially when it comes to a situation where they know they messed up. They're not going to, they'll deflect and they'll point the finger and do everything that they can to take the attention off of them and place that attention onto someone else. And to this day, I know my baby mom still blames me for everything that happened, since the breakup. Let me put it that way. Since the breakup, everything that happened in her life, she blames me. And my mom, my son's grandmother, and my brother too. My brother also made a statement that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. They both said that they feel like, the reason she treated him that way was because he looked so much like me. And she saw me every time she looked at him. So she took her frustrations and anger and animosity that she had towards me out on my son. So I kind of feel like the reason he was isolated and sheltered and whatnot is mainly my fault. Even though I know it's not my fault, that kind of made me feel like it was. And honestly, that doesn't sit well with me. For 19 years, I've been trying to get at my son. And to be honest, I could have gotten him a long time ago. But out of respect for her and her current relationship that she was in at the time, respecting her wishes, I tried to be cordial about it and keep it out of court. hoping that she would work with me and that we could make an agreement. But as time went on, the agreement that we did come up with and that we did make started falling apart because she stopped holding up to her end of the bargain and turned it into a battle. And now, since the battle has turned into a war, and I basically claimed victory on it, she can't. She hates me even more, and she's doing everything in her power. It's gotten to the point now where the authorities had to get involved and suggest to my son to take legal actions against her. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say what type of legal actions or anything, but to take legal actions against her. And my son strongly feels like he wants to do that. From what we talked about. This guy tried to say that my son was easily influenced. And they tried to imply that I was manipulating him and whatnot, but my son can speak for himself. I definitely can. And I allow him to speak for himself. I allow him to speak freely around me. We don't keep secrets. I tell him everything. He tells me everything. And it's been that way since he was a child. I will not lie to my son. My son knows that I smoke cigarettes and black them out from time to time. He knows I vape. He knows from time to time, I'll have a drink, a glass of wine, or whatever the case is. My son knows everything. I have nothing to hide. If I'm going to leave this house, I'll text him or call him and let him know I'm leaving out the door. And when I'm on my way back, I'll text him and I'll call him and tell him I'm on my way back. It doesn't matter what. I'm always honest with my son. I'm always upfront because I expect the same in return with him. I'm gonna hand the floor over to my brother for a little bit so he can voice how he feels about everything and share a little bit more light on the subject and whatnot. But I'm gonna say this before I do that. I'm gonna say this. Unless you've been through this situation, it's almost impossible for you to be able to imagine the pain and suffering and everything that I had to endure, that my son had to endure throughout the course of his life up until this point. It has not been an easy road. And I'm just glad that we were here for each other to the point where now we stand by each other's side. Bro.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Hayato. I'm sure you guys seen me before. We've done podcasts in the past. I'm happy that my nephew is finally with us right now. Very exciting. I'm sorry he had to go through what he had to go through as a child, as a young man, and some in his adult years. I've never seen him this happy before ever since he moved in with us. You can take care of him, talking to him, helping him out, confident him, supporting him. He's been opening up to us and everything, and he's been confident giving him advice on what to do and what not to do and stuff like that, and just looking out for him. We teach him how to be a man, a mature man.
You can't replace his childhood or give him back his childhood, but we can make sure that his adulthood is
good, bro. Taken care of.
Yeah. Something a woman can't do, don't do it. Just saying.
You can't teach a man how to be a man.
And that was the point I was just trying to make right there. Who the hell keeps jumping on the PlayStation, interrupting us?
That's my nephew, that's my man, my guy. Talk to him every day, all the time. He makes me happy. He don't even know that he's making me happy today when I'm stressed out and aggravated from my rough day at work. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh no. That's here and there, bro. Like it's good to voice that. It's good to put that out there. Because like you say, he doesn't know. You know? And sometimes that's all it takes is, you come home from having a bad day and, you see a smiling face. Something that small can change the whole atmosphere, the whole environment. It can change your energy from a negative energy to a positive energy. Just something as simple as a joke being cracked or, a song being heard or seeing someone smile, knowing that someone else is happy, or whatever, because you don't know everything, but you're learning the struggles that both me and him had to endure over the course of time, and knowing what we had to endure, knowing how strong we are because of it, knowing everything that we know, that gives you something to reflect back on when you're having a bad day and you see one of us. Oh, damn, my day is nowhere near as bad as the things they had to go through. This is a walk in the park for them. And if they can smile through it, if they can get through it, I can get through this. That's motivation at its peak. Because that's how I would be with it. Especially with those people that I know that's been around me, that I've experienced, hardships with and whatnot. By me knowing what they went through and the pain that they had to endure, all the suffering that they had to go through. If I'm having a bad day, I sit back and reflect on their situations, not mine. Because their situations were a lot worse than the ones I might be currently going through. And to see them with a smile on their face, or to see them with their head held high, or to see them, laughing and joking as if, they don't have a worry or a care in the world, it just motivates me. It just makes me continue to try to be a better person. It shows me that I can smile through some of the worst situations, some of the hardest hardships. The struggles that we're going through right now. With my current, financial situation. And you know what we're going through. But we always prevail. I always find a way. We always make it happen. You know that like I know that. So end of the day, I always try to keep my head up. So I understand where you're coming from, but don't try to brush it off as either here or nor there, because it's more serious than neither here or there. It's definitely something to be, to be focused on, to have bring some attention to, not just something to hold in the back of your head or keep in the back of your mind just because you don't want to think about it or deal with it. No, let it out. Think about it. Let it out. Get it off your chest. Because the more you hold it in, the faster you're going to end up in the ground. one thing about us males, we value our peace. We value our peace. And females don't seem to understand that we value our peace. Because it's like they're designed and built to destroy and break down that peace every single chance they get. Either through the nagging, the bickering, the drama, whatever they can do to try to destroy our peace or, you know, bring our vibe down or change our energy. They do. Now, I can't say that they do it purposely or do it knowingly. It's just their nature. It's just that's who they are. So at the end of the day, I don't really blame them too much because they don't know no better. It's how they were built. It's in their structure, their design. But those who do it, that this might reach out to, that may want to do something about it, you can fight it, you can change. You don't have to be, stuck in that loop over and over and over again. You don't have to, be the type of person to always bring someone down or always, bicker and fight and argue and, change the atmosphere or the energy in the room because you're miserable or because, you can't help yourself because it's built into your design. I know I'm not going to say DNA because DNA is something that it's a label that man has given to the design, the blueprint of human life. So I'm not going to say DNA because if my thing was if DNA really existed, then when they test for it, they would be able to be 100% accurate. Not 99.9%, not 98%, 100%.
Right.
A wise man once said that there's only a couple of things in this world that you can tell was made by God. And one of those is water. He said, and I quote, "It's one of the few things that you know the recipe for and still can't make." You know the recipe, but you still can't make it. And just about everything is made up of what? Our bodies, oceans, the sky, plants. We depend on water. We're not going to get into the second thing, ladies. But the first thing y'all need to know is that that's a powerful statement. And when I heard that statement, it stuck with me. Everything else, if we know the recipe, we can make it. Water is the only thing that we know the recipe for and still can't make.
It's true.
Really think about that though. Let that sink in for a second. You've been here. You tasted my food. If I handed you the recipe to that meal, would you be able to create it? It may not taste the same, but would you be able to create it?
Yeah.
Same with you. You've I've cooked for you. You've tasted my food. If I gave you the recipe, would you be able to recreate that meal?
Yes.
Now, if I handed you the recipe to water, which we all know, H2O, would you be able to make that?
Nope.
No.
Powerful. Thanks, Kat. I had to. I had to give you a shout out, Kat. That one right there.
Yes, sir.
When you did that show, and I heard you say that. I mean, granted, I understand that you were telling jokes and whatnot, but there was some truth to that. And I actually looked into it. I actually looked at it like, hold up. I know what hydrogen is. I know what oxygen is. I breathe in oxygen every day. And hydrogen is a gas. But if I breathe in oxygen every day and hydrogen is a gas, right? Wouldn't that mean that oxygen is in the air? So if I took 2-part hydrogen and mixed it with air, shouldn't I be able to create water?
Sure.
But yet I can't. Think about the amount of air that we breathe every day. That's all oxygen, right? If you set that gas, hydrogen, the gas, off right there, 2 parts, you think you'll have water? Because it's not man-made.
That's indeed. Very deep.
Everything else in this world, no matter what it is man-made. We're the most creative species alive on the face of this earth. Everything that you know, that you love, everything that is anything in existence right now has been made by man, created by man. From the laws to the buildings to the, the landscapes, everything. Even the forests and the oceans and stuff like that. Somebody went out there and planted that stuff. It was all done by man. Let's see a man, any man, make water.
It's not gonna happen.
Pick one, anyone. You got top-notch scientists out there, who study hydrogen, who study oxygen, who study, all the elements and the different chemicals and stuff like that. They can make vaccines, they can make viruses and all this other stuff. But when have you ever heard them make water?
No. Never.
They can't. They can alter it, which they've been doing over the many years. But you have never heard them be like, okay, we're just going to fix the drought by creating more water. Why? Because it can't be done. You can't make it in no lab. There's no tools out there, no machines out there smart enough that can produce water. There's machines that can direct the flow of water. There's machines out there that might be able to test the temperatures and the depths of water, test the strength behind the current and stuff like that of water. But show me one machine, one robot, one artificial intelligence, one anything that can create it.
Can't be done.
People, open your eyes. There's a lot more truths to become and to be discussed here on this channel and all of the other channels that we run and that we all the other platforms and whatnot that we use and that we stream to. These podcasts are going to be a combination of seriousness and jokes. This one is more along the lines of something serious. It's been weighing on my heart lately, and my son and my brother will tell you I've been pressuring them about getting this podcast done and doing this because I wanted to get the messages out to those who may have experienced similar situations or may be currently going through these situations, and those that may not even have experienced it yet that may possibly experience it later on in life. There is hope, there is things that you can do. If need be, you guys can find the links to all of our other platform social accounts, on any of our platforms. You can find a way to contact us. If you guys need to reach out, you guys need to talk, you guys need to, vent or anything for any reason, you guys know how to get in contact with us.
We'll be here. We will be available.
And you can even request specifically which one of us you might want to talk to.
Right.
Be it be me, be it be my son, be it be my brother back there. Now, I have to clear up a few things. When I refer to this man as my brother, it's not my biological brother. He's my brother from another. And for all of you guys that don't know what that means my mom adopted him into the family. We were nothing more than just friends. And then he became my best friend. And now he's officially family. He's been adopted into the family. So that's why I refer to him as my brother. That's why his name is different from ours. That's why he has that sort of look to him where he doesn't look like the rest of us. He's laughing, but I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, y'all keep hearing me say my brother, my brother, my brother, my brother. But y'all also hear me refer to times, or refer to him, or even talk to him in ways where, oh, yeah, you're just figuring this out, or you're just learning this, or you're just hearing about this, and saying things like that to him. And y'all like, well, if that's his brother, shouldn't he have already known that? But that's the reason why I do it, because he's not biologically my brother. Me and this man did not grow up together. We did not live in the same households. We did not know the same people. None of that. We became friends at a bus stop. Him on his way home from work, me on my way into work. We became friends. That friendship led to a brotherhood, in which my mom officially adopted him into the family. Now,
Quite some time now.
we're inseparable. We're inseparable.
We all ain't going nowhere.
None of us.
Yeah, none of us.
Unless God calls us home. We also had another addition to our family. You want to tell them about that?
So, we may or may not have adopted a cat. Her name is Wildflower. And yes, she is the new. Actually, there's two new additions to the family.
Yeah.
We have a cat that I just spoke on, and we have a little puppy. Her name is London that my grandmother ended up on.
We'll post pictures of all of our additions. And, upcoming videos, upcoming streams, upcoming podcasts. So, you guys, if you want to see those pictures of our additions, be sure to stay tuned, tune into the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever we go live. Because you never know what you're going to get. Our streams can go from calm to crazy in a matter of seconds.
Like 0 to 100 real quick.
No, it ain't no 0 to 100. It's like 0 to a million.
0 to a million, yes sir.
Real quick.
And the things we talk about, you would not expect us to talk about.
Yeah, right.
Oh, believe me, there's a lot more to come. A lot more. And those of you who follow our gaming streams, y'all know what we're talking about. You guys know exactly what we're talking about. You hear the things we say on these streams. You see how we roll. But that's us just living life and just chilling and hanging back, enjoying our peace. Right? We're 3 men who live together, maintaining the bills, and we're at peace.
Being us.
But enough about that. I'm about to get over here and throw these meatballs in these pots. You know what I mean, and whatnot, because I know my family over here is starving, and if I don't cook, they're not going to eat.
Not at all.
Nope.
If I don't cook, they're not going to eat. So I have to cook. But I don't mind doing it. And I'm happy because I know they love my food.
Hell
They
yeah.
love my food.
Yep. Hell yeah.
Every time
You dig?
Every time I cook something, the reactions is priceless.
It's gone in like a day or two.
The reactions
Not
are
even.
priceless. I don't know about a day or two.
That's why I said not even.
Let me cook a tray of lasagna. It ain't even
That'd
gonna
be
make it a
going like
day.
5
It
minutes.
ain't even gonna make it a whole day.
Those gone in like 5 minutes. Yep.
And this is a pan per person.
Right.
Full pan.
A full pan. And we're talking about,
Husky.
like a 10 or 12 inch pan.
Right.
That's about, what, a foot and a half deep?
Yes, at least.
We're talking about the pieces be what, like this,
Crazy
right?
thick.
Yes.
They be like this, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It'd be like that.
Like that.
Yep. Just like
That's one piece.
That
So,
ain't making it
can you-
through a day.
Can you imagine a pan that's like this long, and it has to be thick enough to hold a piece that big? And each one of them have their own individual pans, and they still won't last a day. Whenever I make my lasagna, there's never any leftovers, ever. It's funny because recently, my son and I, we went to visit a family member, and one of my cousins just so happened to be there, asked me about my world famous lasagna. And yes, they asked me, and they've only tasted it one time, and that was years ago.
I was was a wee lad back then.
Yes. So for them to remember the taste and remember, that meal, that dish, that meant a lot to me. And they inquired about it. They asked me when I was making it again.
Maybe for my birthday, you never know.
I'm making meatballs tonight. And hopefully by the weekend we can have all the ingredients that I need for my baked taters. See? The reaction.
Man, y'all don't know
The
what y'all
reaction.
missing.
That is what I'm talking about.
Y'all just don't
My
know.
son hasn't tasted my baked taters yet. But my brother,
I have. And they big too.
he said
Big
I have.
husky joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything I do, I put my foot in it. I break my
Hey,
foot off.
Gordon Ramsay, if you ever see this man is capable. Just saying, hands down,
Yeah.
he's capable.
That's definitely a top chef.
And that's no
40 billion
culinary background, no training, just purely from the heart.
He cook better than people that actually went to culinary. Just saying.
Straight facts.
Wait, hold up, wait. What do you mean by that?
Someone, I'm not gonna say no names. Went to culinary and can't cook.
Wow,
Yikes.
that's an interesting fact.
Wait a minute.
His mother went to did she complete?
I'm pretty sure she had completed culinary. Don't quote me on that though.
Okay, so she may or may not have completed culinary, but she attempted culinary training and has somewhat of a culinary background, and she can't cook.
Not at all.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So let
Make that make sense.
If she can't cook, what have you been eating the past 19 years?
I'm gonna put it like this. She will go to the store and pick out junk food and sweets. And that's mainly what I lived off of.
And that's apparent because last time I checked, parents try to keep their kids from eating junk food and sweets on a regular basis. In my household, when I was growing up, my mom used to say no. Every time a neighbor or a friend or another relative would come to the house and they have like anything sweet, cookies, candy bar, cakes, didn't matter what it was, little pieces of candy, because we was a church going family, so we used to always keep like peppermints, on us, or we would always go to the store and get a bunch of peppermints, and not the little flat little ones. We get the big balls. Yes, the big peppermint balls. Them Jones.
throwback.
Yes, those Jones would last for
forever.
half a service. Like real rap, they would last half the service. You sit there.
What? Them Jones be banging too.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
What? He's bugging.
And yeah, they would offer. My mom like, don't give them that. You're gonna have them kids bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
They're gonna be hyperactive. Gonna have them bouncing off the walls. Like, no, don't give them that.
The way I was bouncing off the walls.
Yep. But now he gets a hot meal, at least one hot meal every single day. At least one.
Sometimes two,
Every single day since he's been here. We've had to fill this freezer, 3 times?
Yeah.
Going on the fourth.
3 times.
That ain't cheap.
And if you can see the size of our freezer, it can hold a lot. It can definitely hold a lot.
But my stomach holds more.
It's funny because our freezer stays full and our refrigerator stays empty.
Right. Where? Make that make sense.
Ooh, he's
But
not wrong.
it's facts.
It is facts.
Our freezer and cabinets, they stay full, but the refrigerator stays empty. Why is that? What do people usually put in their refrigerator? The only thing we have to say we got in our refrigerator is probably a thing of ketchup, a thing of mustard, a thing of barbecue sauce, and some butter. Some butter. Like, that's it. And if I could show you, oh no, there's some bread in there
Like,
and some stuff left over from the barbecue.
like 2 strands of cheese, though.
And, yeah, 2 slices of cheese and some leftover pizza. That's probably gonna get munished. But other than that, that's it. But if you look in that thing, you ain't gonna be able to find shit because it's so full.
Right. You gotta dig and search.
And we about to go shopping again.
Yep.
Because we gotta fill that whole thing up. We gotta restock that cabinet. You know, we gotta make sure we have all the ingredients that we need, the seasonings and everything like that. Because we love to eat.
Boy, dude.
And we're not talking about like store shopping. We're talking like dumpster shop. Not dumpster shopping, my bad.
Freezer shopping.
Freezer shopping. We have our
Which
own.
is basically like dumpster diving for those who dumpster dive.
Yep.
We deep freezer dive.
Yeah, we deep freezer dive. Yeah,
We deep freezer
if y'all ever-
dive.
If y'all ever watched the Minions, y'all know the little shrink ray. Yeah, we use that. We go inside the little freezer, get what we want, and then come out.
And it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks
Yeah.
indeed.
Thanks, Mom.
Yep, we had to thank the people in our corner who stands by us and helps us through these struggles and whatnot.
Also supports us. Can't forget that.
Yeah, they supports everything that we do, everything. And my mom's been doing that for years, since I want to say since the day I was born, but I can't remember back that far. So like, it's just I'm one of them type people. I don't say it unless I can prove it. So since I can't remember back that far, I'm not gonna say it. Well, I probably just did, but you see, they always laughing at me like I'm telling a joke or something.
Because this man is hilarious.
Yes, he is.
Don't let him mess your mind up. He's hilarious.
Mess your mind up. What you mean mess your mind up?
Because he gonna say
I'm
that
not
he
your
not
cuz.
funny. He gonna say that he not funny, but this man is
I am
hilarious.
not funny.
We all are. We're all hilarious.
I don't know about that. I know them two they got issues. Them two right there, they are nuts. They are nuts.
There's nothing wrong with us, trust me.
They got issues. They are nuts.
Says the one.
Those guys lost their minds.
Says the one
At
that walks
times.
around the house talking about, can I pet that dog?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not the one making goofy impressions. Good. See?
Yo.
See what I'm talking about?
I didn't lose my mind though. I'm perfectly sane.
And this one over here,
I'm the quiet one.
don't you believe it?
Quiet my ass. He is
See?
not quiet.
See? I told you. Especially when you're playing the game.
Yo.
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 It's facts though.
It is fact.
It's
That's
facts.
fact.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
Certain games I do get hyped. I do get
Hype. That ain't hype, bro. If they can hear you 3 blocks away, that ain't hype.
Yo,
Why you think his mom was scared to get out the car?
it's all fun though. It's all fun.
Yes,
it's all
it's
funny
fun.
games.
It'd be funny.
Although when I die, I do be getting heated. I be ready to. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but like.
Yeah, that's that rage quit. He got that from me. I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I had anger issues, heavy anger issues.
So did I.
But that's because, like I told you before, you know, I had a rough childhood, and I didn't have the support that my son has. My great grandmother passed away. Yeah, she was my great grandmother.
Oh yeah.
She had passed away, and she was like the backbone of the family. And I kind of feel like I follow in her footsteps because all of them will tell you when it comes to my family, I'm usually the one that gets things done.
Facts.
I'm usually the one that brings people together.
Yep.
You know, I'm usually the one that makes things happen when it comes to the family. You know, there's other people who aid, who help in, you know, bringing us together. But most of the time, it's me. Even my mom will correspond with me and, you know, set things up with me, you know, coordinate with me to make things happen. Like my brother, for instance, he just had a barbecue. What was it? 2 days ago?
It was 67.
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, so like.
Sunday.
Was it 2 days ago?
Technically, probably, maybe.
Yeah, today's I think Tuesday.
Yes, it's officially Tuesday. So yes, 2 days ago, he had a barbecue, and the whole time that we were getting things ready, my mom was corresponding with me. Everything. We need this. Let's get this set up. We gotta get that set up. You know, when you come and buy the house to get things set up, you know, and I'm the one that she reaches out to. And then I have to relay everything to everybody else. You know, so come on, son, let's go get set up, bro. Come on, we gotta go set up for your June. You know what I mean? And then we go, and even while we're setting up, we make a game out of it.
We do.
You know, we have fun. We shoot the breeze. We share laughs. Good moment.
Of course.
And bro bailed out on us the other day though. The puzzle day. Don't act like you don't know.
Oh, now I remember.
300 pieces, by the
300-piece jigsaw puzzle. Mom only had, I say she probably only had what, like maybe 35 pieces put together
way.
when we started. And we finished that whole puzzle. The three of us, me, my son, and my mom. Three generations. Put that whole thing together. It didn't take us that long, a few hours, and it was done.
Yeah, we walked outside, it was pitch black.
It was probably later than that.
It was like 2:30. But but it was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Very
It was hella
cold,
fun.
but fun. Cold. Because we was in front of the AC.
What? That air conditioner over there, pump. Loud as a motherfucker. Give you a fucking headache.
Motorcycle.
It'll give you a motherfucking headache listening to that bitch. But that motherfucker, pump. If we would have took that joint, I don't think any of us would have needed air conditioners. Put that joint right in the front room window and just let that joint go. Whoosh. Even the cats will be shivering.
Right.
Them motherfuckers will be like, you gotta turn this off.
Right.
Like, no, turn that shit off.
Much love, much love.
But we want to thank you guys in advance for the support, for tuning in and watching our first podcast under the new brand. And don't worry, DSH Gaming gonna be rebranded too. As soon as this podcast ends, we got to discuss that with my son. My brother and I already discussed it, so we know where we're going with it. But we got to discuss it with my son because everybody knows DSH Gaming is, or was, a 3-member team. But now it jumped to 2, and eventually it just stopped producing altogether. But it's coming back. Coming back with a vengeance.
Sure is.
I told you I can't with these guys. These guys are just too hilarious.
Nudging fights. If you know, you know.
Nothing fucks.
Yep.
Really? My man said nothing fucks.
Yo.
You still got that John from earlier
What?
with the misspelling on it? And you was like, oh, they got him here too?
Yeah, do you have it? You ain't got the box anymore?
Talking about the big box. Yeah, that John is funny. look, he laughing. You know it's funny.
Yo, that was hilarious.
But thanks for watching, guys. We gotta go. I gotta make some meatballs if I could keep my head up.
Yeah, they like having meatballs in their mouth.
Oh God.
Oh. No Diddy parties over here.
They like it extra saucy too.
I'm taking a plane next time. Like, real rap. I'm taking the plane next time. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be doing multi-streams later too. Once I figure out how to get them up and running. What the hell is that?
Was what?
Maybe I'm hurt.
What was it?
A voice.
On your TV?
Maybe that's what it was. Oh, you did? Who was there yelling? Again?
As always.
What else is new?
Yeah, it's nothing new.
You sure it was from down there and not from over there? Because over there, them Africans be fighting and yelling and stuff too.
What up?
That don't mean nothing. They be outside with it.
Yeah, they be throwing.
You remember?
Yeah, I was there, yeah.
Bro,
cars.
8 o'clock in the morning?
Nah, it was early. It was like 7. It was out there till like 9.
it was like
That junk was drawn.
yeah, they was out there throwing cars and bushes and everything, bro. And we was out and we was just
and whatnot.
yeah, throwing knives, everything. Just loud at 7:30 in the morning. Mind you, people gotta get up for work. I wouldn't say school because it wasn't August. But you know, people had to get up for work that early in the morning. Y'all throwing cars and making all this ruckus, and you don't want to hear that. A lot this up because no one ever had to hear that again.
Right.
Or shut up. As it should.
Just because we was laughing in their faces and they heard us. Good. That was embarrassing.
And and if it comes down to it, I'm gonna throw a ladder at one of their foreheads.
Oh God, don't get violent, don't get violent.
That's a joke. I'm joking.
Yeah, don't get violent because you know, one day this video might actually get out there for real people to see it. You know, and we don't need them thinking that we out here trying to harm people. You know.
Never. But don't forget that there's always someone there to support you, whether it's one person or multiple people. You always have someone to talk to. Take advantage of that at all times because you never know the outcome. Things could always get better or things could get worse. It's up to you. Keep your head up and keep pushing.
Thanks.
You heard it from the man himself.
Yes,
Yes. Thanks for that. We definitely did need that. We're going to end this stream now.
Yeah.
Guys, so thanks for watching, and
I want you, bro.
don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you back here in the next one.
I want meatballs. I want meatballs. Tell them to hurry up.
Don't be rushing, man. Hurry up.